From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you. God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims. Why, good morning, my beautiful people on TikTok. Ridiculously early. I come ridiculously early on here because it's too early for me to go on YouTube. It is not even 5 a.m. this morning, and we have a lot to go over in the Sebastian Rogers case. There have been emerging new details in the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers since the inception of Dog the Bounty Hunter and Nick the Hat coming in. They have been working this case, providing a $200,000 reward, $150,000 over and above what the FBI has put forward. We've also learned about this secret door, which is a crawl space on their home, on the side of their home that doesn't have any cameras pointing in that direction, which is causing many people to wonder what is going on. As we review this case, there's no gate on this side of the house, and of course, I do believe this is the path of travel for the two lights that left the area. Now, this has been a talking point of contention when it comes to the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case and a lot of the information that is being released at this time. Right now, we're learning with the at-night intelligence agency that the mother, Cathy Proudfoot, was seen speaking with some individuals outside of the Texas Roadhouse in a army or olive green type of clothing. We're also learning that there was potentially another person with the person in green that was wearing a yellow jacket. We're hearing that the person in the yellow jacket was skinnier, and the person in whatever hoodie was a little more husky than the person in the yellow jacket. Now, coming back to the crawl space, the secret door that I was speaking of, I have also learned that there is access in many cases to the crawl space from inside the home, typically in the master bedroom's closet, or a interior closet of some sort usually has the interior access of these crawl spaces. And again, when we are looking at the map, now I don't know how you guys are feeling about this, but when you're looking at the map, that right there where the red line is the exact location of the exterior portion of that crawl space. And the lines that you see are in relation to that video that Nick Barris had put out related to the lights video, this light phenomenon that happened between 3:30 a.m. and 4 a.m. on the outskirts of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers' home. We're also learning that after we did publish the story about the jacket, one of my audience members said, "Did you look into Gallatin High School?" Gallatin High School has this hoodie that resembles what is being described by At Night Intelligence Agency. And here is the actual sweatshirt or hoodie that is associated with the green wave of Gallatin High School. Is this a clue? It appears that whoever spoke to Cathy may have been known to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. This case is heating up right now with a whole bunch of information related to this. And here is Nick the Hat. The truth lies not what they utter, but what they omit. Lies always cast shadows. I can't move this up because there's something, of course, all this stuff at the top of the screen that they put on these lives block it. But at the end of the day, I think that's kind of what we need to realize is that, yes, there's a lot of stuff that we've heard inconsistencies with the mom and the stepfather predominantly when it comes to this case. And moreover, what are they omitting? What are they omitting from the story? We're listening to all the inconsistencies from interview to interview, but when are we going to start looking at what is being omitted from their stories? Let's take a little walk down memory lane, so to speak. Why did we hear about these individuals speaking to the mom of a missing boy literally minutes before the last time he was ever seen again? It gives you a little pause, pause for concern. Oh, chasing crimes, you're up way too early this morning. What are you up so early for? Or have you not gone to bed? I mean, hey, you might not have gone to bed. I don't know. I'm waking up. I went to bed at like 6:30 last night. I was absolutely, utterly exhausted. And Delilah apparently woke up and had to, go out and do her business at 3:30 this morning. I just want to tell you that Florida is cold this morning, so that means everybody else in the United States is under blizzard. Hey, love, the baby wakes me up at 4:45. Oh, gotcha. Well, it's nice to see you. So I don't know how much of this stuff, I know you've been covering this stuff as well, but one of my audience members have brought up this Gallatin Green Wave sweatshirt potentially as a possibility. Oh, I also wanted you guys to see this. Oh, look at Delilah, all beautiful for Thanksgiving. Look at her in her little dress, and look how pretty she's sitting. Look at that. Isn't she so cute? She's so cute. Look at that monster. He's such a baby. Everybody, I wouldn't want him coming running after me, but I got to be honest with you. If he's running after you, you might as well stop. All he wants to do is lick you. There's the family. That's Delilah's aunt right there. That's Delilah's aunt. If anybody wants to know what her aunt looks like, there she is. That's Delilah. That's TT. That's Sissy. So anyways, getting back to Sebastian and this sweater, or this hoodie rather, we have a lot of questions when it comes to this case. What truly happened? And a lot of people on my social media are starting to really blow it up and talk about, potential premeditation, which I've never discussed on my channel of any type of premeditation, because truly not what I believed. This kind of looks like a child that was overstimulated. It seems like, according to everything we understand, he didn't seem to be very happy at Strikes and Spares. He didn't seem to be very happy leaving the Texas Roadhouse. And it seems to me that he was exhibiting, overstimulation from that day just by the behaviors at the end of the day that were caught on camera at Strikes and Spares, as well as the Texas Roadhouse. And many people go back to that very first interview, the green shirt interview, where they were discussing this case with WSMV. And when they were talking about it, Katie sat there and said, when I told him to go to bed, he did. Something like that. And it just really made you feel like there was problems with that child going to bed. I had no idea there were. I just remember, because I didn't even know about autism when I first started covering this case, including the green shirt interview. I'm just going off behaviors, and I'm like, I don't like that laugh she says. It seems like he has a hard time going to sleep typically. And to find out that to be true is a little crazy. That brief interaction and analysis and identifying that really early on before I knew anything about this child is pretty telling. And then we're hearing that he was just a happy kid, had the best day, nothing to see over here, nothing to see over here. And it's hard for us to believe that there's nothing to see over here because a child is missing. A child that didn't appear to be too happy that night. And we have to look at who could have done this? And the circle is so small that it doesn't really leave us a whole host of, for example, oops, I just hit my tripod. For example, in Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner, I don't know if any of you guys know who I'm talking about. In the Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito case, they were in front of the Moonflower. These two girls actually watched Brian smacking Gabby around in front of a coffee house right outside of the Moonflower. Well, these two girls, Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner, ended up losing their life at their campground. And the whole host of potential people it could have been, when we got out there, we had 4 or 5 people on our list. Our list grew to over 35 potential people that could have done this to Crystal Turner and Kylan Schulte. It was very ironic because all 4 of those people crossed paths and all 4 of those people were deceased within 30 days. I mean, it was definitely ironic. Many people thought Brian Laundrie could have been responsible for the 2 girls. Come to find out, it was a coworker to Crystal Turner. We learned who he was within 24 hours of our feet hitting the ground. Actually took his name over to Lieutenant Kim Neal. We were laughed out of the sheriff's office. And then, almost 10 to 12 months later, a year later, we're learning that very guy that we went to this lieutenant with was the actual assailant in this case. So what I'm trying to say is there were so many people it could have been in Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner's case. But in this case here, the circle is way, way, way smaller, especially eliminating the internet is a possibility, because the internet has such predators on it, and it would have opened up a much larger suspect pool, so to speak, right? But because that aspect was removed or limited so significantly, it almost acts as if the internet couldn't have been a culprit to this child's disappearance, which again bring us right back to the people in and around this child's life, which was very limited. So, with the light sources, and a lot of people don't understand what I'm talking about, the light sources inside the house. Let me explain what happened and what we've learned, okay? So according to the mother in this WSMV interview, which was the very first one, we didn't realize that, we didn't know Dutch's. We didn't know about the Dutch's interview, the very, 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 very first interview. I've went back and reviewed it with my channel multiple times, but the first interview that many of us learned about this case was from the mainstream media interview with WSMV. And this is the one where Katie kind of chuckles when they're asking about her son, which was very off-putting to many people that have witnessed parents that are missing their child, and this is not the behavior we have ever seen, let's be honest, with a parent that's truly missing their child, especially a mother. you know. A lot of people dismissed it as nerves or anxiety of some sort. I don't believe it is. I believe she was just not prepared. She has a lot of guilt, and that was exhibited throughout that interview. Just my personal opinion of the situation. Now, maybe people don't agree with that assessment or that opinion, and you are entitled to your own opinion, right? But we learned that this child disappeared and allegedly just walked out the door. Well, we were fact-finding that. And we did a lot of research, not just me, but other channels, other, subscribers and members that send us information. We're also doing their own due diligence and collecting of information. And this is what we learned. Lori, I'd call the tip line and email them. They'd check it regularly. As well as TBI too. Yes, I agree. I don't know what Lori wrote. Let me go back up here. It's hard to watch. My son may have saw Sebastian in March, but not a thing was done. If you reported that, how do I get a hold of dog? 833-TELL-DOG. 833-TELL-DOG. Let me put the flyer back up here for you. Maybe that'll assist you a little bit. I'll read the number directly off the flyer. There it is. Last seen, call 844-922-3236 right here if you want to write that down. Or you can do 1-800-TELL-DOG, or 833-TELL-DOG. Now, if it's easier for you to send an email, you might want to send it to Most Wanted, spelled out just like that, at manhunts with an S. .one. So it's most wanted at manhunts with an S.one. Those will be all of the numbers that you should. And if you have reported it and haven't seen anything done about it, it might be, I can tell you Nick and Dog's team are literally looking through everything. And I've left a message to Dog, but no reply. There's not always going to be a reply, okay? Even when I turn over leads to them, I know they're working on them because every now and again you'll hear, something come up in one of their things. But even and to be honest with you, I'm very close to I don't get updates on the leads I send. So yes, there are new information, and I want you guys to look this up because in all fairness, we have a lot that just doesn't really make sense. And there's a couple things here. One is we have an individual, a huskier individual. We have two individuals speaking to the mother of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. One is wearing a olive green and military or a military green with stacking and geometric, lettering and da-da-da-da-da-da. So each of these are just to show you different colors of olive and military type of green. One of my audience members that was in the chat when we were talking about it said, well, we live near Gallatin, and there's this Gallatin Green Wave or Gallatin High School a sweatshirt that sounds like what you're describing. So this sweatshirt here has been added, but there is some more information that I think is big, but it hasn't caught on yet. I have analyzed this area, this neighborhood, pinpointed where, actually, I think some of the stuff was from Chasing Crimes as well, where the houses were deemed and tagged with cameras, which one has cameras, which ones did not. And I analyzed the angles using Google Maps and Google Earth where these Ring doorbells would be angling, toward the house. And I found one area at this home that no neighbors have cameras on. None. And it is kind of blocked from camera views, and it had trees to help obscure it even further. Here's the trees right here obscuring the view, okay? There was no cameras angling this way on this side of the house. And as you see right here, look at that big door. That's a big freaking crawl space, if you ask me. That is the entrance to the crawl space right there. Okay? That is the entrance to the crawl space right there. And we're learning that this crawl space, according to Google, now this doesn't mean a hill of beans, let's be honest. This doesn't mean a hill of beans unless it's accurate. I don't know whether it's accurate. I don't have the floor plans of this home. I don't have the construction plans of this home. I don't have the blueprint of this home. I don't know whether there's interior access to this crawl space from the interior of the home. However, what I did learn when researching on Google, which, you know, again, I don't know whether this is accurate or this goes to the house. I can only tell you what I find, right? And it tells me that, yes, most crawl spaces have interior access, typically located in a closet floor, allowing entry to the crawl space from inside the home rather than solely through an exterior access point. This is a newer home. Would they have that interior access? Again, this is pretty interesting for me because this actually opens up to the one side of the house that has no video cameras. They have this big tree, and if you look directly across the street, there's nothing there. It's between two homes. So there's literally no house directly across the street and no angular cameras from Ring doorbells that go this way. And even if they did, they would still have this huge tree right here blocking their view. But in addition to that, there's a line of trees right here as exhibited here that further block any view. And again, you can barely see this crawl space access. Is it possible that there was a crawl space access inside interior of this home? Because this is the only area that has no cameras, and they were undetected by cameras until they got clear over here. Let me move out of the way a little bit better. Until they got clear over to the car. When they got clear over to the car, that's when the cameras actually saw them through this. Sorry, Delilah's now in the picture. See, my baby Delilah, she's leaning on me. She's trying to help out with this show. But this is the area that camera on the corner of Kellen and Stafford picked up, was right here. But nobody had any view of this area, only them poking out right about here, right? This is where we started seeing them, not them, but the lights up here on the neighbor's camera going to a car that was down here waiting. And this car down here was waiting for 3 to 5 minutes before these lights came to it. The car backs up as another person is scurrying back to the home, or toward the home, rather, if we want to be accurate, right? We don't know if they went to the home. We just know that they were going back toward the home, and they were appearing from the direction of the home, if we really, really, really want information. So I truly believe, without a doubt, that this access door might come into play. But even if this wasn't the way that the child left, this fence here is only 4 feet tall. Now, on the other side of the house, kind of like this, there is a gate. And that gate is actually blocked by the work van. There's a camera that's adjacent to this side of the home, and I'm not sure if they would capture somebody leaving this gate, especially with the obstruction of the work vehicle. This would have been the only work vehicle that was parked in that area at night, because the vehicle in front is the stepfather's, and we all know that the stepfather was not at this home this particular night, this particular weekend. We're hearing it's possibility of him having a 4-day weekend, but honestly, there's no proof that he came back to the area if he did have a 4-day weekend. I'm still trying to confirm and corroborate this potential 4-day weekend. It was an employee that worked with the stepfather is the one that stated he was off for the 4 days. We're trying to get that confirmed by, like, say, a boss or a manager or somebody with knowledge, and it may have already been confirmed. I just have not received the information just yet. So we are working on all of that as well. But there are some hinky things here. And again, we all saw the lights video. We all saw the path those lights took. And now we're finding out that that's where the crawl space is. And then I'm learning that the crawl space might have an interior access. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's pretty significant information related to the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case that I think it should be explored a little more from people that are in Tennessee that have the ability to pull public records. Me being in Florida and the laws in Tennessee for FOIA, which I think we need to work on all these states. If you receive federal funds, you should be opened up to FOIA from state to state. It doesn't matter whether we live in the state of Tennessee or not. But that's the rules of Tennessee. Now, we were able to get information in the Summer Wells case, and they didn't deny us the information in the Summer Wells case, dispatch calls, everything. We did the whole gamut, including public records of, purchasing and paying for the property lines and like the all the height and stuff for the mountain and, what their land was and stuff like that. We had no problem in Hopkins County to get that stuff approved and sent to us. It cost us a little bit of money, but we had no problem. In this Hendersonville area, Sumner County, they're not releasing any information. They're very arrogant people. They stand in their own way, and they obstruct their own cases, and that's what we deal with in a lot of counties in Tennessee. It's a culture. It's a culture issue, in my opinion, with that state. Them thinking they've got this. And let's face it, when we're dealing with death or disappearances, you should be welcoming of all resources, all help, all hands on deck, no stone left unturned. That's the way it should be. It should not be a pissing contest in our law enforcement bodies. And I feel like it's become that, especially in these smaller counties where they got to be the men, good God. And women step aside, because let me tell you, they are very, very sexist in these Tennessee communities as well. They will work with a man, they will speak to a man, and they will be disrespectful to a woman politely. I don't like it. I think it's a problem, and we'll resolve it. It's just going to take a lot of work to do that. And there is absolutely Tennessee corruption, and we're seeing it in the Millersville shutdown of the police department, Millersville is partly in Robertson County and partly in Sumner County. And the sheriff in Millersville has been doing investigations into HT, corruption on a local, state, and U.S. Wide, identifying possible mortgage fraud, money laundering, working with Chinese benefactors in this mortgage scheme, and his office and home, his his police department and his home was raided by TBI. Some of the people they were investigating. So I'm very interested in the results of this. I watched a video of this sheriff kind of explain what was going on. A chief of police explaining what was going on. And I've got to be honest with you, it is a little bit concerning. And to hear that they're associated or in the same county as Sumner County, which I'm called out from the rooftops as a corrupt freaking county. We got problems here. We got major problems in Sumner County. And I think if you guys want to get an insight on some of the problems they're having and facing, I think you need to start watching the Millersville police chief and start getting yourself up to date on what's going on and why he was raided. I'm telling you, let's think about this. Okay, guys, I want you guys to understand. In Sumner County, when this case was going on, Okay, this is such a small county for such big city issues. Do you know during the middle of this investigation, a freaking house exploded? A house exploded, and I don't think it had any association with this, but they said that this house exploding near the grandparents, the step-grandparents, Chris's mom and stepfather, right? This was not too far from their house. A house exploded, and law enforcement actually believes that it was intentional. And then you have this huge fire at this landfill. The landfill that everybody told us that we should be looking at instead of that Kentucky landfill, because sorry, Delilah's playing with a plastic bottle. Because the Kentucky landfill was only the construction side's trash. From what we're understanding, not his home's trash. Well, guess what? When people started coming out that it wasn't his home's trash, that's not the landfill that his home's trash did go to ended up catching on fire. Now, I'm sorry. I'm not a conspiracy tin hat type of person. I'm just not. I like facts. I like putting stuff together. I like putting the puzzle pieces together and seeing what it makes, right? But this is, if you guys don't believe me, go in there and type in house explosion, Sumner County. You can't miss it. You can't miss it. And I got to tell you, that's freaking creepy in such a small town that they have so much big city crime. It makes you wonder what's really going on in that county. You know, social media has brought these small counties that didn't have a lot of limelight on them, you know, because their mainstream media is so small, you know, it's only for their local area. A lot of people can keep things hush-hush when they have an ecosystem like that. Well, social media rocks that ecosystem because we have the ability to shine a spotlight right on a very small county and dissect them, so to speak. And we can find a whole wealth of information by doing that. And in this county, we found corruption. We hear of corruption. But I don't think it's exclusive to this county. I truly believe that it's a state issue and a state culture problem. And I think it's time for new leadership. You know, I really do. I think it's time for new leadership in this county as well as at the state level. So there is some information. We need to work together. We need to find whoever was wearing this a green hoodie. Not necessarily specifically this one, but it was a green hoodie. It was olive or military green, and it had some writing on it. It could very well be something other than that. Let me find the other ones. Where are they? I think I took a picture of them. There they are. Oops. It could be something like this. But as you can see, it's a clear design. You know, the actual design, even though they're different words and different greens, you guys get the context of what is being looked for and sought after. And it would really be good if we can find somebody that was wearing a, say, hoodie, olive green to military green hoodie that has a friend that likes to wear a yellow jacket, right? That would even be better, right? That would even be better. Because then we would get some movement on here. So if you know anybody that normally wears a green hoodie and has a friend that likes to wear a yellow jacket, reach out to 833-TELL-DOG. You know, if you are those people and you have nothing to hide, you know, you're just there asking for some change, reach out to 833-TELL-DOG. We're looking for you. You never know. You might have seen something or accidentally overheard something that didn't mean anything to you. But when you tell dog, it might be what's needed to break this case wide open. Nuggets of information that seemingly have no real truth or anything. Just like this oddball piece of information that seemingly has nothing to do with the case. Honestly, there have been so many cases across, I could literally name 30 different, over the last 30 years, how somebody that seemingly had no information, that nugget of information blew the case wide open. And we're looking for that needle in this haystack to help bring Sebastian home, and to bring Sebastian home safe and healthy. With each passing day, we know the statistics are stacked against us. We know we had this ridiculous circus that is, thank God, calmed down. You know, it needed to calm down. So we can be focusing on Sebastian Wanger. It's either calmed down or we've just been doing a really good job at ignoring the nonsense. So even if we've done a great job ignoring the nonsense, congratulations to everybody for doing that. I want to thank everybody for being here. I didn't know TikTok had people up this late or this early in the morning, but I'm very, very thankful. Why are we looking at the green sweatshirts and the yellow jackets? Because, oh, you must have missed it, Dolly. So the reason why we're looking at this is because we've learned through work from At Night Intelligence Agency. So what had happened is At Night's Intelligence Agency thought there was more to the Texas Roadhouse. And so they put out a reward for $500 to $5,000 for anybody with photos or videos of their night at the Texas Roadhouse on February 25th, 2024, between 5:30 p.m. and 10 p.m. That they were fortunate enough to receive that request by someone, some unknown person. And when they reviewed the footage or the photos or whatever they had, they saw the mom of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers speaking to somebody in an olive green or military green hoodie for under a minutes before the last time Sebastian was ever seen on video surveillance footage again. And so, you know, it doesn't mean that they're involved. It doesn't mean that they have anything to do with this. It just, all they're trying to do is identify who these people are and to find out whether or not they have any relevant information. So that's the reason why this hoodie is coming in. Now, they couldn't make out what was written on the hoodie. They could only make out that it was this olive or military green. So they gave you some ideas of different color greens that it could be with what they feel like the stack geometric image may have been. And one of my audience members actually made a statement that it could potentially be associated with Gallatin High School. And according to Nick the Hat, they actually added this particular sweatshirt to this montage of sweatshirts that they want people, you know, looking at. So it is possible. Now, somebody was in my chat and said they heard somebody say it was only 3 letters. I truly don't know. I haven't seen the footage. I'm going off of, people's requests on X and other things, and I'm trying to put it all together myself. I guess I could pick up the phone and just call and ask. But what's the fun in that? No, I'm just joking. So I am getting some information related to this, but this is what we have. And just yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, this particular sweatshirt was also added to those other ones to give people an idea. So if anybody has seen somebody with this particular jersey or a jersey that may be similar, remember, it may not have this wording on it. It may be this color green. It might be one of these greens. But this is kind of the overall, you know, from what they could see in the distorted video that they had, this is what they believed that they saw. So we're reaching out to the public to find out, hey, did you see somebody? Did you happen to witness this this contact between the mom of a missing boy and this person that appeared to be a husky person with a slender or skinnier person in a yellow jacket? I think that this could be huge. This could be a nothing burger, right? But it has to be eliminated, right? These people have got to come forward. Maybe one of those things where there's nothing to see over here. Come here, baby. Come on. Come on. There you go. Nothing to see over here. We just don't know. We don't know until the people are come forward and are spoken to, you know. But there is some movement. This is what I'd like to say. I know people, and I say this almost every single live, whether it's on TikTok or YouTube, and you know, I sound like a broken record, but I think it's because I truly believe it. I feel like this case was starting to get stagnant. I feel like, you know, that we were losing our grip on trying to find any information to lead to the whereabouts of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. I was feeling I could identify, even though Seth remains vigilant and hopeful and everything like that, I was feeling hopeless and helpless in this case. And then Nick the Hat and Dog the Bounty Hunter jumped in, and I gotta be honest with you, I really did not know what to think. I didn't. And as this case and working with them and their team has been moving forward, I don't know what Seth or the team would be doing without them. They truly have a hell of a lot more resources than Seth or us could ever have. They have the ability to find things. They have the financial ability to hire people and hire private investigators to go cover this or cover that. They have a huge legal outfit that has really been helping. I truly just don't know what this case would do without them right now. And I've got to be honest with you, I'm very critical of anybody, right? If you know me and you know where I'm at, I side-eye everybody until I get to know them, because it's just experience, right? It's not that I'm trying to be mean. It's just I need to feel you out and know who you are before I get behind you, right? And so I was a little standoffish, I've got to be honest with you. And then as I started working with them, I realized that they really give a crap. And those are the kind of partners that you really want to join with, is the ones that give a crap, that actually want to see this case in, not for a click and a view, not for this, not for that, but truly to find out what happened to a child, you know, and to really help. I think one of the reasons why I've grown so much is because I've always been curious for the truth, right? People watch, and I'm very thankful for that. You know, it is amazing how many people tune in. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's the curiosity. It's the wondering what truly happened to this that keeps me going. And when we get hit pay dirt, you know, it really makes us feel good. You know, it feels good to do good. I think that really is the motto that I'd like to spread. And so that's what's kept me grounded and kept me focused, even with all the distractions, even with all the hate, even with all the trashing and bashing and stuff like that. It's hopefully getting to that pay dirt, you know, that all of this was worth it because we accomplished what we got here to accomplish. And I feel like Sebastian's army has really taken off. And with the help of Nick and Dog, this has gotten a lot more attention and has started, you know, creeping out a little further than our little ecosystem here on these platforms, which is huge. So I don't know. I know people have their opinions and stuff like that. I can only tell you what my experience and opinion of them is. And I'm very grateful. And I'm very thankful for Seth that he finally has and building a team that really is working around the clock, day and night, nights and weekends, holidays. I mean, we're working on the holidays, you know. He's got round the clock help now, and things are still moving slow. There's still a lot of stuff to go through. But I can honestly tell you, it seems like we're making some progress. I mean, we never even knew. We've been covering this case for 9 freaking months. We had no clue that the mom spoke to anybody other than her husband. And now we're finding out about this green hoodie and yellow jacket guys. I mean, you know, so I truly believe that their help has been beneficial in this case, especially in light that Seth has lost faith in Sumner County to do their job and to do their job well. Now, is that just a father being upset that, you know, nobody could do enough to bring his son home because his son's still not here? Or is it true and grounded in fact? I don't know, because I don't know what law enforcement has truly done. But I can tell you, I've never, out of all the cases I've covered, which I've traveled this entire country, many of you guys have watched many of my adventures out there searching for people and otherwise, and I've never seen a sheriff's department in a community act the way that this one does. This is what's causing all of us to laser focus on them, because we've never seen this before, and we've covered a lot of cases. Okay, we've covered a lot of cases. So that's kind of where we're at. If you guys have any information related to maybe access points, for crawl spaces in Tennessee, I'm sure if houses are constructed typically in a certain fashion, reach out to me. If you have a crawl space and you have interior access into your house, if you could take a picture, I won't show it unless you give me permission to show it. But I definitely would like to start reviewing this aspect of this potential way out of the home undetected. It is a possibility, and it could be a probability. It's one of those things we need to either prove or disprove at this point, because it's on the side of the house that it needs to be. The exit is on the side of the house that it needs to be, and it's very concerning. And I'd like to close this worry box. So if you guys could help with this jacket, or with the side of the house, and this access door right here. Now, I want to also tell you, after this child disappeared, all of these obstructions have been leveled. These trees have been cut down. I didn't even realize these trees were erected at the time of his disappearance until I was going back through my old footage, the footage from June. And when I drove by this house, and these were all cut, and freshly cut at that. Does that mean something? Well, it means that they know that that was the side of the house that had no camera footage, and after the child disappeared, they decided to open it back up. That's the only thing I can attest to, because why wouldn't they clean this up? They didn't remove the trees. They just cut them all down. I find that a little bizarre. I find that a little weird. Just saying. I just find that a little bizarre and a little weird. All right, guys, please don't forget that Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers has a $200,000 reward for any information that leads to his whereabouts and safe return home, or the successful prosecution of those responsible. You guys take care. Thank you for letting me bend your ear this beautiful Saturday morning, ridiculously early, but you guys were great. Thanks for hanging out with me. Can we call a number to get a hold of you? The best way to get a hold of me is bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I really don't take phone calls. As a matter of fact, my phone is basically disabled. I do have a working phone, of course, but it stays on Do Not Disturb. So the chances of you getting a hold of me, if anybody, you can talk to many people. If they try to get a hold of me, it goes straight to voicemail. It's because I work all day. So where I check periodically throughout the day so I don't miss things, and I still miss a lot of people, is bullhornbetty@gmail.com. As you guys can imagine, I'm covering a very notable case, and my emails get blown up, but that's the only way I can keep everything together. And as a matter of fact, I will be going over a lot of those emails here in just probably about an hour or two on my YouTube channel. This is where I take those emails that you guys send me, and we go through them. I don't disclose people's names or who's sending them to me or anything like that. We just talk about what's in the body of those emails, and we'll break it down. I'll give you my opinion. If I don't know what that is, or don't know what to do, we do research. We do live research right then and there. We don't guess. We don't speculate. We'll dive right into the questions as deeply as possible with the confines of an hour or 2 hour show. I try to keep the shows to about an hour. It's palatable for everybody. It's not overburdensome for somebody to watch. And I like to have bite-sized things. I think here on TikTok, the 3 to 10 minutes is just too short. That's why I don't do that many videos, is because this case requires a lot more than just 3 to 10 minutes explanation. Now, I could put it in bite-sized pieces, and when I have more time and have more patience like I used to, I will start getting back to doing more regular videos for all of you guys. I do have some search videos. I might compilate that, put that together, and put that out on TikTok later today. It's about a search that I did with Silvers on the Scene and Mr. and Mrs. Car Guy. I don't expect you guys to know who either of those people are because they're on YouTube, not TikTok. So anyways, guys, I do appreciate you guys learning a little more about this case, allowing me to bend your ear, and more importantly, thank you for participating and responded. Wow, I bet that's the missing. It might be. It might be. You know, that's why we've been analyzing this. I got to be honest with you. When I saw that door, I thought that was another exterior door to the house that was being obscured by those trees. But when I went back to my footage and saw all those trees cut down, I could clearly see that's the crawl space. And I'm like, how ironic is it that the crawl space exits on the side of the house that has no cameras pointing at it? That one area is the only, of course, the backyard. You know, the backyard is obscured, but there's no place to get out of the backyard except on the other side of the house where they park the work van. And there is a double gate right there that allows people to get out of that backyard. But when you look at the angles of the house kind of across the street, it looks like it could possibly pick up movement on that side of the house. We don't know. Maybe the work van is obstructing the view well enough that the camera can't see it, but it's still a risk. Do they have access to that side of the house? Do they not? Would they pick up a shadow walking across the grass? You know, just, you know how like sometimes you have that radiant light that comes down and you have this long, you know, shadow either in front of you, next to you, or behind you, you know? And would they have been able to pick up that? That would have been the most concerning. But on that other side where I showed you where that crawl space is and all those trees were, there's nothing. I've looked at it. I've looked at it 15 ways from Sunday, and there literally is no cameras pointing in that direction on that side of the house. They could possibly, like the other side of the house, you know, that one camera could possibly, but none. This is the dark side of the house. This is the house that has no camera pointing at it. They can move freely within a certain area, like that whole side up to that next house, the corner of the next house. There's no cameras pointing there. That is the only area that I can find that has no potential possibility of cameras picking up anything. And then I find out the access is there. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't want to speculate what that means. I'm just saying this is interesting for me. This is something that I find very interesting. I find very concerning. And I truly believe that's the area, that's the side of the house that these lights originated from before they were picked up on the security camera on the corner of Kellen and Stafford. So, you know, take that for what you will. Take that for what you will. All right, guys, thanks for rocking it out with me this early Saturday morning. If you guys are still up from last night, get some damn sleep. If you guys are just waking up like me, morning. Get yourself a cup of joe. All right, guys, you take care. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, let's be kind to one another. It is the holidays. God bless.